Hey guys, Mike here. So today, I'm here to talk to you about Stan and Ollie. In this review, I'll be going over a brief summary of the plot, my quick thoughts about the film, and whether or not you guys should go and see it. So I'm going to try and keep this review spoiler-free. However, if you don't know anything about the film and you want to go completely blind, then it's just come back to this video once you've seen the film. So with that, let's get started, shall we?
I'll miss us when we're gone. So will you.
So Stan and Ollie star Steve Coogan as Stan Laurel and John C. Reilly as Oliver Hardy, and together the two of them are Laurel and Hardy, one of the most famous comedy duos ever. In Stan and Ollie, Laurel and Hardy are at the end of their career and they go on one final tour before they make their big movie before they retire. But tensions are a bit high between the two of them because they still haven't fully forgiven each other for what they did to each other a couple of years ago. So after a brief hiatus with each other, they have to learn to work together so they can do this tour before they can make their movie. So first of all, I didn't really grow up with the Laurel and Hardy movies. They were more kind of my parents' cup of tea. That's not to say I didn't like the movies because my dad has shown me a couple of them in the past and they are really funny and they are absolutely timeless sketches. But having said that, Laurel and Hardy were more relevant when my grandparents were younger. But still, it's undeniable the impact that Laurel and Hardy made to comedy and to pretty much pop culture in general. So with that, let's talk about the performances by Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly. Now, like I said, I don't really know Laurel and Hardy all that well, but from what I do know, I really feel that Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly really do give great performances as Laurel and Hardy. I mean, both actors really get into the roles, and it becomes a point where you just don't really see the actors anymore, and you just see the characters Laurel and Hardy. And you know, let's say the rest of the supporting cast also give pretty good performances as well. But obviously, the main focus is on Stan and Ollie. Though I do feel it's quite strange how John C. Reilly's got the Golden Globe nomination and Steve Coogan hasn't. I mean, I wouldn't say that he doesn't deserve it, but of the two of them, I mean, I think they both were fairly even. But, I mean, it could have gone either way, and I'm just glad that one of them really's got a nomination. But unfortunately, two good performances doesn't really save this movie. Now, this movie isn't bad by any means. It's just kind of forgettable and really it's just kind of average. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of dramatic points in the movie which really hit home and are really well acted and really do push the story forward. And there are one or two scenes that are really funny. But for every one funny scene, there's kind of two that really don't hit the mark. I mean, there's always scenes in comedies where they really want to kind of stop and let people laugh before they move on. And like other comedies, this movie has those kind of scenes. But when the movie kind of pauses for the audience to laugh, there were just quite a few points where I was sitting there just thinking, was that meant to be funny? I mean, it was, but I think they were probably expecting a bigger laugh. I mean, I'm glad that the movie was set where it was, because you see loads of movies where you see how people get famous, but it's not all that often you see how a famous person's career kind of ends. So, you know, I do give the movie props for, you know, showing this side of their story. But another thing I took a slight bit of an issue with was kind of how this movie ended. Not with the ending in particular, but with the fact that the movie felt like it was ending for 20 minutes. It's not necessarily like in Return of the King where they have 5 different endings. It's more kind of like in Casino Royale, where you feel the movie's at an ending point, but it kind of just keeps going for a bit. I don't know, it wasn't a massive issue for me. It's just something I thought that I had to kind of point out. I mean, if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Overall, guys, Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly's performances were really good, and they really did embody the characters. Their sketches were really funny, their drama together was really important and really pushed the story forward, and they were easily the driving force for this movie, as you'd expect they would be. But ultimately, I think Laurel and Hardy just deserved a better movie. But again, like I say, this movie isn't bad, it's just kind of average and forgettable. I mean, I probably won't be thinking about this movie in the next couple of months. But now, as for whether or not you guys should go and see it, on a personal note, I probably wouldn't recommend this movie to most people, but if you're of the generation that grew up with Laurel and Hardy, I would definitely recommend that you guys should go see this movie because I think it's pretty much aimed for people who are massive fans of Laurel and Hardy. I don't think this is really to kind of get people into Laurel and Hardy. It's more for the fact of people who already know all about them and just want to see a bit more about them. So again, to recap, not for new audiences, more for the older audiences. Okay guys, that's my review for Stan and Ollie. If you've seen it, what did you think about it? And who's your favourite comedy duo? Whoever it is, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!